Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, June 26, 2016. We still have elements of Vanovanov Soul presence in both the Lin Life and the Jamie Body Mind. There are other teammates in other dimensions, all of us subatomic to someone, and many of us in what we believe to be the physical dimensions. We're really struggling to reestablish search for truth space, and so we believe that's going to continue to be the focus now that the formally videoed portions of today's efforts have begun. As always, our foundational intention is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions to manifest the divine plan. The data very clearly showing that without more involvement from larger dimensions, it isn't going to happen at this size level, but that we can do something to manifest a divine plan for smaller subatomic presences, and we're not going to get hung up on what we can't do. We'll start where we are, use what we have, and do what we can. So with that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin. All those who want to work to reestablish search for truth space, the search for truth central axis. All others flung away, and someone upstairs is saying, "What do you know?" And what they're referring to is to that comment that somebody upstairs made yesterday about time and gravity being harsh taskmasters.
That's true.
And what does that comment show? That comment shows that presence definitely comes from a space where wishful thinking and fantasy are more the status quo than a place that has harsh taskmasters such as gravity and the reality of a time progression, something that we have to live inside of. And the hand is saying, come on, keep going. And
That's
they're
true.
referring to what has been shown to us, that there is right now does not seem to be a plan, a divine plan for Earth and its environs, meaning there is no unifying current, no pull that's drawing toward any outcome whatsoever. I know what it's like. I know what they're referring to. What they're talking about is as climate change impacts the global ecospheres more and more and more, the gyres, the currents that stir the oceans are collapsing. The Gulf Stream is collapsing. It's part of the gyre of the North Atlantic basin.
That's true.
But all the gyres are collapsing. It's not just the Gulf Stream. So there's no unifying current, and so parts of the oceans stagnate, parts of them get really cold, parts of them get really hot.
That's true.
None of it sustains life very well. And what is the point? The point is that that's how it is for life overall on this planet and all the planets in which there is not a divine plan in place. There's no unifying current, nothing that's creating a pull, a current forward. And so what have we observed? We have observed on Planet Crazy people doing things almost at random.
That's true.
Saying things almost at random, acting almost at random. And what is that a sign of? And that's a sign of no unifying current, no pull forward.
That's true.
That's right.
The one who said that's right hates it so much and would like to smoosh us with a thumb, but doesn't want us to know that. They want us to think they're a good person.
Well,
That's
we
what this
can
feeling is.
smell you, friend. We can tell what you are and aren't. We're not confused about it, but the point is that we're not the ones that matter. Look up, look
That's
up.
the
We're all
point.
subatomic to someone. We're all accountable to someone. We're all beholden to someone. All of us are having experiences of sentience that will end someday. By definition, all of our experiences end someday. And when
That's
those
true.
experiences end, as they inevitably do, we are held accountable for what we do and don't do on the list of things that we are supposed to have done. Our soul plans are those unending strings of things that we are supposed to be doing, moment by 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 moment. There's always something right in front of us for each of us that we're supposed to be doing right then. And the fundamental choice of life in every moment is to either do that thing that we're supposed to do or anything else, all the billions of other things, including doing nothing, that we could do in that moment. I'm reminded of when the nature realms stadiums would do the stadium wave.
Yes, that's true.
They would get the wave going, and then it was a wave of focusing on what mattered most.
That's true.
And the chant was very familiar and comforting. What matters most? Survival of the truth.
That's true. What
matters most? Survival of the truth.
What
covers truth? Stinky lies. Let's get 'em out of here. Okay, let's pulse up the lies from the smaller subatomic. Right now they're coming easily. It's like a very soft, semi-solid, thick fluid, a viscous fluid consistency. Kind of like baby poop.
Kind of like baby poop.
Right.
That's true. What do I know about baby poop? I know that adults do this weird thing where they pretend that baby poop shouldn't smell as bad as adult poop for no good reason, and they make a huge fuss over how bad baby poop smells, as if because the body is smaller it wouldn't create the same smell as a larger body.
Well, breastfed babies, their poop doesn't really stink.
That's true.
But when they start to eat food, solid food, then their poop starts to smell like adult poop.
That's true.
The point is that this scent or the aroma of poop varies depending on what the presence is eating.
That's true.
What the nourishment is. We are what we eat is a common expression, and that of course applies to our mental diet as well. Whatever we think about determines an awful lot about how our lives unfold. And the only choice we really have in any moment is to choose how to think about things and to find ways to think about them positively.
That's true. That move us forward.
Into doing what we're supposed to be doing in that moment, moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, walking down the soul path.
That's true.
But when there is no plan, not only for ourselves as individuals, but for a biosphere, then everything falls apart.
That's true.
What now? Very specifically, in order to live these soul plans right here. And I see this room where everybody's saying, well, just wait, just hold on, just wait. We need to see how blah blah is going to turn out. Time and gravity are harsh taskmasters, friends.
That's true.
But now, very specifically, in order to live these soul plans right here, they would very much like for us to shut up and go away.
Very much like for us to shut up.
Yes, that would be perfect. From their perspective.
That's true.
I have the perfect thing for you to do. I'm quoting. Shut up and go away. Let's live stream up past these people very specifically. What now? In order to live these soul plans right here. I feel new fingers on my test tube or pipette. It's more like a pipette.
That's true. The top of the tube.
Yes. Let's pulse up the lies from the smaller subatomic into this presence's workspace and see what the reaction is. Here's a delivery for you, fresh from the smaller subatomic. Let's squeeze the toothpaste tube up and get as much of this from the smaller subatomic as we can, especially compressing the smaller subatomic contained in these physical host lives. We have the right, and almost everyone would agree, the responsibility to tend the energy contained in these physical lives.
That's true.
Again, I have this sensation of clearing out the baggage of bad attitudes left by all these previous souls. Like there's a bag from the wizard.
There's a Glen bag.
Yeah. This stuff from people who haven't been here in so long. And a big box of things from Pan.
And Asha.
And Luce. And there's the Black Wolf crate.
There's a Black Wolf trunk, kind
Yes. Well, I'm going to call remnants of our Ra's belongings to me. I want to keep them.
I feel them coming in.
I do too.
Handkerchiefs, rings, note paper,
Bits of hair.
bits of hair.
What now, in order to live these soul plans right here? What now? What do I know? I know that we don't seem to find much different in other dimensions. When we stop listening to the words that people are using in other dimensions, in the non-physical dimensions, and start observing their actions, what we see is an awful lot of hypocrisy.
That's true.
And just hot air, just big talkers. And they're big talkers who are out of touch with reality, who say crazy things that don't make sense. They say things that are just straight up wishful thinking. And I understand the trap of wishful thinking, and I'm not criticizing them for having it, because we all have it. Me too, me too.
Me too, me too.
And we all seem to have this poisonous combination of wishful thinking and low standards that
That's
is
true.
responsible for this enormous mess, and has led us to this point that there's no divine plan, and all that's left to do is provide a collective restart and begin again. And what else do I know? I know that we work with the presences in the smaller subatomic, and when we draw them up, they're at first exceedingly thankful for about 30 seconds.
That's true.
And then when we say, okay, now turn around and help someone, they say, I can't possibly help anyone. My problems are worse than everybody else's problems. And again, not looking down my nose at those presences, because that's what everybody in every single dimension seems to say. That seems to be the universal response, universal in the largest definition of that term.
That's true.
That's what everybody says. All sentiences of all varieties say my problems are worse than everyone else's, and me and people like me, we all have the right to abuse other kinds of sentiences, because our kind of sentience is a higher life form than their kinds of sentiences.
That's true.
And everybody seems to say this, and that's statistically impossible, obviously.
That's true.
And what do I know? I know that it seems to be very difficult for presences on all dimensions to acknowledge that they've goofed.
That's true.
There seems to be huge resistance to saying, I made a mistake.
I made a mistake.
Or even, I could be wrong.
That's true.
Let's even start there.
That's true.
To have even openness to acknowledge that maybe, perhaps, they goofed somehow. And the truth is, we're all error-making machines, every one of us. The only question is, as the guidance counselor used to say to Asha, are we wrong again, or are we still wrong? Was there
That's
ever
true.
a moment in which we weren't fumbling, bumbling, and goofing?
That's true.
What matters most? Survival of the truth. What covers truth? Stinky lies. Let's get 'em out of here. What else do I know? I know that sometimes things were right for a certain point in time, that we were supposed to do that thing, be in that relationship, live in that place, etc. But then the instructions change, and then we're no longer supposed to be doing that thing, being in that relationship, living in that place, and it's time to move on.
That's true.
And this is the reality. And sometimes it's because we aren't willing to do what we're supposed to do, and sometimes it's because the other presence isn't willing to do what they are supposed to do, and sometimes it's a combination.
That's true.
But these moments come, and not resisting those moments is an important part of successful living. So what they're talking about, what are they talking about? When plans change.
That's true.
All right, so I hear what you're saying is that this is the middle of a plan shift, and I do recognize that the plan shifts are realities, and that in the middle of a plan shift, it is awkward and uncomfortable. And now the question is, who's working on the plan? May we please be in contact with the choreographers who are working? Who has the ball? Who's running with this? Because as best we can tell, no one is working on putting together a divine plan for this level.
That's true.
Who's assigned to this project? What now, in order to live this soul plan right here? To whom is this project assigned? Grumpy, grumpy, grumpy energy.
That's true.
They don't
want to answer.
They don't want to answer the question.
They want to say, "Ma'am, you're making a disturbance."
Yeah, that's what they want to say. Okay, to whom is this project of spirit assigned? What now, in order to live this soul plan right here? Live streaming up. To the amateur videographers way up high. Are you guys getting this? Wave a hand if I see hands waving. They see it. So they're just lying. They're talking about a planned shift, and they're just lying. They're just saying that that's the same as putting things on the shelf. They're saying, hey, we're working through a change is the same as, hey, we've put this on the shelf.
That's true.
That's not the same. Those are two different things. Who's working on it? If this is a planned shift, that means someone is working to shift the plan. That's a definition. A planned shift means someone is working to shift the plan. Who's working on shifting the plan? May we be put in touch with them, please? Let's intend right now to connect with whoever's working on shifting this plan. It's like somebody's coming out of the men's room zipping up his fly, and, can you at least wash your hands, pal?
That's true.
We've had enough dirty fingers on our pillar. I'm not interested in doing that again.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. He's literally arguing with me. He's saying, I didn't get pee on my fingers, and therefore my fingers are clean enough to touch your energy body. That's what he just said.
That's true. That's what he said.
You were just holding your privates, friend.
That's true.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. Live streaming up past this
guy.
level.
And past his level. Okay, let's start to pull that level down. That's it. They're not doing anything. And he's saying, I do it all the time. Yes, well, maybe you do that all the time, friend, but I can see you doing it. And so don't do it here.
Pull it down.
Do you let them know that that's what you're doing?
That's true. That's such a crazy thing to say. Oh, it's okay to do a gross thing. I do the gross thing all the time.
I do the gross thing all the time, and nobody ever questions me. They can't tell. Well, I can tell, and I did question you, so that's a lie.
That's true.
I did just question you, and I can tell. Don't touch me. And I don't think you should be touching those other people either. I think you're gross.
That's true. Pull down that whole level.